Alright folks, welcome back. This is the Balatro demo version 9.0Q, and I'm going to talk about a seed optimization. So what that means is, we want to go to play, we're going to do a new run here, and instead of sort of starting a random run, I want to do a seeded run. And I have a particular seed that I picked out that I find interesting, and so we'll paste it here and then we'll hit play. And so, maybe what you want to do is you want to play through the same seed multiple times over and over again, trying to get a better score, or maybe you're trying to play through to accomplish some weird challenge that you've decided on. Either way, what you want to figure out is what cards should I be playing each round, what cards should I be discarding each round, what hands should I be going for, or whatever those types of things are. And so with this idea of seed optimization, I want to talk about a particular strategy, card shuffler manipulation. So the idea is, what moves can I do in order to possibly manipulate the shuffler into dealing me the cards that I want in the order that I want. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And so, we'll go into the first hand here of the first round. And so something that you might be interested in is, here I see I have a pair of sevens and I have a pair of twos. And so is it better for me to play this two pair now and then, potentially play another hand in order to beat this round? Or maybe, as part of this optimization, if I win with just one hand, then I have more hands left over, I get more money, that's an optimization thing. And so is it better for me, maybe I discard holding on to these sevens, and if I hold on to the sevens, maybe what I'm looking for is I can get a full house with these sevens. Or maybe since this is a set seed run, I've played through this before, and I know if I try to hold on to the sevens, I don't actually draw any more sevens, I don't actually get my full house with the sevens. And so maybe we should be discarding the sevens instead. And so, okay, here's like the level 0 version of this. We'll just discard everything. Okay, so I don't really need to pay too much attention to what's going on here, because at the end I can always just look at the deck viewer. And so any card that's grayed out, that's a card that I saw, or that's a card that's currently in my hand after using all my discards. And so what I want to think about is, of all of these cards that were discarded, how then can I create what would be one hand that wins the round? So for example, I notice here I've got 2 9s and I've got 3 8s. So if I go through this again, I could play a full house, 8s and 9s, and that would be fine. Or another option is I can go for here 4 6s, 4 of a kind 6s would also work. So maybe let's try that. Okay, so let's go start over. And okay, I want to try to get 4 of a kind 6s, so just discard anything that's not a 6. That's pretty easy to do. You can see here, after just 2 discards, I already have 3 of my 6s. I just need to, if I discard these 5 cards, I should get that 4th 6. But actually, I noticed here, I've got 3 6s and 2 10s. I don't actually need 4 of a kind. Full house will also work. So, for science, let's just play the full house and then see what happens. All right, now let's go into the next round here. So in round 2, okay, let's pay attention to the deal that we were given. So we're given here, it's a 9 of spades, 8 of spades, we've got an 8 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, and we've got some other stuff here. We've got these low spades, and then we've got the 5 of diamonds, 6 of clubs. And if you want here, we can even, if I discard some cards here, you can see I draw 2 aces and then some other stuff here. All right, now let's start over. All right, I said originally I wanted to go for the 4 of a kind 6s, so let's do that. Okay, playing through this exactly the same. We get to the same place here with the 10s and 6s, but now let's discard, and there we go. We got the 4 of a kind that we were promised. So what happens if we play this instead? All right, now when we go to the next round, the 8 of diamonds, the 7 of diamonds, the 4 of spades, those 3 cards are the same. Basically, everything else is different. I don't have a 9 of spades, I have an ace of spades instead. I don't have an 8 of spades, I have an 8 of clubs instead. These other cards are different. If I discard these 5 cards, here instead of drawing 2 red aces, I draw these 2 10s instead. So it's all different. So here's the bottom line. The bottom line is, if you play different hands, if you discard different cards, then in the next round, in the next round, in the next round, your cards will be different. You'll just be dealt different stuff. If you play differently, you'll get different stuff. And so, kind of one way to go about this seed optimization stuff is just kind of experiment. Just play stuff and then see what happens. This sort of just trial and error, hope for the best. Or what we can try to do is we can try to be a little bit more deliberate about this. And so let's go back to the beginning. And I'll show you another technique that's possible. So, okay, play through this mostly the same. We're going to discard, and then discard again so that we can get our 4 6s. Except one change that I'm going to do is instead of discarding these, I'm going to swap this 10 of spades with this 8 of diamonds. And so this is going to be the effect. The effect of this is, in the future now, wherever there would have been an 8 of diamonds, it is now the 10 of spades instead. Wherever there would have been a 10 of spades, there's now an 8 of diamonds instead. And so, everything else the same, I can manipulate the shuffler in this very subtle, very deliberate way, swapping just these 2 cards. Everything else the same. So play the 4 6s, keep these cards the same. All right, now if I go into the next round, you'll notice here, we used to have the 8 of diamonds is now this 10 of spades instead. And if I dig a little bit deeper into the deck, wherever the 10 of spades would have been, now that 8 of diamonds is hiding in there. All right, now let's go back to the beginning. Okay, let's think about these 5 cards here. So what we just said is, if I swap any 2 cards, then that'll sort of swap their positions in the future. And so if I take this 7 of diamonds and swap it with this 5 of spades here, now in the next round, instead of getting dealt the 7 of diamonds in my starting hand, I'll have this 5 of spades instead. Or what I can do is I can, shuffle around all 5 of these cards in whatever kind of wacky order that I want. And sort of the result of this now is all of my cards will be rearranged. Kinda. Maybe something like that. Maybe something like that. There. So what's going to happen? Okay. So the hand, it used to look like this. okay, with the 2 clubs on the right, with the 7 of spades on the left, and then now I'm going to make it look like this, or something like that. And so, okay, what's the result of this? The result is the 2 of hearts ends up where the 2 of clubs used to be, the 7 of spades ends up where the 2 of hearts used to be, the 2 of clubs ends up where the 7 of spades used to be. And so all of these cards are shuffled around, but just within this packet of 5 cards here. Everything else will be the same. Only these cards are shuffled around if I want. Or, okay, maybe the thing that I want to do is I don't want to swap these cards. What I want to do is I want to swap in my starting hand. I had that 7 of diamonds. Maybe I want to get another 7 in my starting hand. So I actually want to swap these. I want to swap this 7 of diamonds with this 8, or this 7 of spades with this 8 of diamonds. And so now if I do this discard here, okay, now I just have this 8 of diamonds instead. And so, you know, what you can do is, you know, before I do the rearrangement, it looks like this. Instead of discarding this 7 of spades, let's discard this 8 of diamonds in the 7 of spades spot. And then this one looks the same. So remember, this 7 of spades used to be the 8 of diamonds. Still, 8 of diamonds would have been right here. And then there we go. Instead of 8 of diamonds, now 7 of spades. All right, now let's get a little bit more advanced. Let's get a little bit fancy here. So we'll go back to sort of the baseline. The baseline is we're going to discard without doing any rearrangements here. And we're going to play our 4 6s. And in the shop here, I have my blueprint. And then here, okay, we have some different options for the way that we can play this. I know in advance, you know, because I've played through this, I know if I discard these 5 cards, I will see here, this is a straight flush here, straight flush with diamonds. And so if I wanted to, I could just play the straight flush of diamonds, or actually I'm going to do one more step here. The thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to discard these cards. I already have my straight flush. I don't need to discard, but I am going to discard. And so the reason for that is if I want to do card rearranging, if I want to do card swapping, I can only swap the cards that I see. And so if I go to the deck viewer here, I see, okay, in my starting hand, I had the ace of spades and I have the 8 of clubs. So if I wanted to, I could swap those in the starting hand before I do any discarding. But these aces here, I do not see them. If I do not see them, I cannot swap them. Same with these 3s here, same with these, you know, I'm missing my 2s, 2 of spades, 2 of hearts, 2 of diamonds. But if I discard before playing my hand, I get to see more cards. And if I see more cards, I could potentially swap more cards. And so, you know, that's like a minor optimization strategy there, is you use all your discards just so that you have access to more cards. All right, going into the, finally we made it to the boss. Now on the boss here, I was able to pick up 8 ball with the blueprint here. And so, you know, that's why I picked this seed. So maybe what we want to do is I want to play as many 8s as possible, as many pairs of 8s. And so I've got the 1 8. Let's go ahead and discard looking for more 8s. There we go. I found a pair of 8s. So let's go ahead and play them. If I want, I can play a few extra cards here. So remember I said if you play more cards, if you discard more cards, you get to see more cards, you get to potentially swap more cards. You have more power. So let's play this as a 2 pair. And we get 2 tarot cards because we've got the blueprint here. So we get strength and we get fool here. And then now again, you know, sort of playing through this somewhat naively. I like the strength card because I can turn my 7s into 8s, and then after turning them into 8s, I can play them and then, you know, get even more tarot cards. So let's try to do that. Let's discard again, and we're going to look for more 7s here. Okay, there we go. I've got a pair of 7s. Let's go ahead and use the strength card. Now, if I wanted to, I could play some 8s. Except we run into a little bit of a traffic jam. So what am I talking about? The 8-ball with the blueprint, normally it would give me 2 tarot cards, but I already have a tarot card in hand, so it's only able to give me 1 more tarot card. So if I want to get the full value here, I have to get rid of this tarot card. So, you know, easy thing to do, you just sell it, you get $2. $2 is great. Or, you know, I already said the strength card is kind of cool because I can potentially get more 8s to play. So with this strength card, let's go ahead and let's discard. I'm hoping for more 7s so that I can use this card. Bummer, we struck out. We didn't get the 7s. Actually, if we go to the deck viewer here, in the last 12 cards of the deck, I did not get the 7s that I wanted. But I can see here, you know, here are all of the cards that I did have access to. And so, you know, if you remember back to that first hand that we had in the first round, there is the 7 of spades there, there's the 7 of diamonds there, there's the 2 of clubs, the 2 of hearts in the starting hand. And so maybe what I want to do is go all the way back to the beginning to that first hand and do a swap. Swap 7 of spades for this 7 of clubs. Or another thing that I can look at is in the second round. In the second round, I played this straight flush. I played 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 of diamonds. And so if I go back to the second round, I can, before I play my straight flush, maybe what I want to do is, okay, the 10 was in the starting hand of this round. So maybe I'll swap the 10 with the 7, and then I'll draw the 7 earlier instead. So let's try that. Let's go back in time and let's try to get a little bit fancy here. All right, first hand. Okay, here's those cards I said we had. 7 of spades, I can swap with my 2 of clubs. Now, if I wanted to, I could swap this 7 of diamonds around. You know, swap it in with either the 5 of spades or the 2 of hearts. The problem is, in the second round, I already committed to, I want to play the straight flush of diamonds. And so, okay, here I'm going to leave the 7 of diamonds alone, and I'm going to swap it later, because it's already where I need it to be, at least for round 2. 7 of hearts, I got no problem with the 7 of hearts. That one we were able to find no problem, so we'll go ahead and leave it alone. And then here we would discard these 4 on the left, 1 on the right. I'm going to make a minor modification. The thing that I'm going to change is instead of 2 of spades, I'm going to swap it with this ace of hearts here. So I talked about we want to get as many 8s as we can. We want to get as many 7s as we can. Didn't say anything about aces. Well, I'm going to swap these, and then we'll see why later. But, you know, just trust me, this is what we want to do. All right, and then after doing that, just 2 swaps. 7 with a 2, ace with a 2. All right, let's pick up the blueprint. In the second round here, we're going to get a little bit fancy. We're going to swap the 8 of clubs with the 4 of diamonds. I should have highlighted this at the time, but basically the idea is the 8 of clubs happens late in the shuffle in the next round. The 4 of diamonds happens earlier. So by swapping these, I get the 8 earlier, which is great because then I can play it earlier. Another thing that I'm going to do is instead of discarding, so it was before I would discard 4 and then 1 more, with the 8 of clubs here, that's what it looked like. And then I swapped it to look like this. Instead of discarding this 4 of diamonds, I'm going to discard this ace instead. And so once again here I swapped an ace with a 2. Here I'm swapping this ace here. I'm doing something with aces, and then we'll see what I'm trying to do here later. But okay, let's give that a try. Now, what was the next move? The next move was we're going to discard 3 cards. I said, okay, use up all of our discards so that we can see as many cards as we can. Something slightly funny here. Remember this 4 of diamonds? It used to be, well, I swapped it with the 8 of clubs, and then I did another kind of rearranging things, and I swapped it with a ace of spades. And so the ace of spades used to be over here. And so, if I want to sort of keep the same ordering that I had before, then the way that I do that is the thing that used to be the ace of spades, put it in the ace of spades spot. Otherwise, if I didn't do that, if I just left it over here, then that would cause, sort of this cascading, this butterfly effect of these 4 of diamonds ends up not where the ace of spades was, the 10 of clubs shows up there instead. And then here, I was talking about using all your discards so that you can see more cards. By discarding, even though I didn't need to, I'm able to see these 7s, I'm able to swap these 7s. And the rearrangement that I want to do is I want to take this 7 of clubs and we're going to put it on the left here. And so the effect of that is switch a 10 with a 7. The 10 is now a 7. And for these here, again, I'm doing something funny with the aces. I want to put the ace here. Instead of over here on the left, I'm going to put it in between these 2. So that's the same effect as ace and 4. Let's swap an ace with a 4. And then now for my straight flush. I said I wanted to swap a 7 with a 10. I can do that. Or actually what I'm going to do is do it this way. 7, 9, 8, 6, 10, like that. So the 10 of diamonds spot, I'm putting the 7 into the 10 spot. Pick up the 8 ball. Now, okay, when we go into the final round here, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've been here. So let's remind ourselves what we had. Before we had a 4 of diamonds, I swapped it. I added in an 8 of clubs instead of a 4 of diamonds. Before we had 3 10s, you just saw me swap a 10 with a 7. And so what we get is 2 7s in our starting hand that we didn't have before. Which means if I want, I can go ahead and play. Here's a pair of 8s. And then now in the second hand, you can see I have all 4 of my 7s. I don't need to use any discards. So that's kind of how much power we have with all of this card swapping, card rearranging. I can go ahead and use the strength card. I can use another strength card to make even more 8s. And you remember I was doing all that weird shuffling around with the aces. Here's why. I have here's aces and 8s. You know, in order to get this 600 points, these jokers that I have don't give me any points. So I need to get, something like 2 full houses in order to actually win the round. Just playing pairs of 8s or even 2 pair with 8s, that's not going to be enough. And so I was able to manipulate, I was able to get these extra aces so that I can play not just a pair of 8s, but a full house with aces. And that's basically the end of what I plan to do for this tutorial. So we were talking about this seed optimization. You're doing a set seed run over and over again, trying to play better in order to get a higher score or whatever your goals are. And the focus was on these different techniques for manipulating the shuffler into giving you the cards that you want in the order that you want. For example, here giving us more 8s and 7s earlier in the round.